Please subscribe, like, comment, and turn on the notification button so you are aware of our future episodes that you will love so much. Hello everyone, welcome to the 2025 edition of Fame Week Africa. And today we have our in-house guru, the man who understands the business from all angles. And today we're talking about connecting Africa to the world, an interconnected conversation. Welcome, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you.
Good to
Thank
see you.
you.
Good to be back.
Yes, sir.
I was one of the early ones.
Yeah, I know, right? Firstly, congratulations on the success of Kings of Joburg.
Thank you.
Season 3.
Thank you.
Man, that was a crazy storyline you came up with, man.
Thank you. Now, teamwork makes the dream work.
Dream work.
And we wanted to honor our brother and keep the show going.
Yeah.
So we always say the show must go on. The show goes on.
Yes, sir. Congratulations. But
thank you.
Specifically this week at Fame Week, you are having a few panel conversations. Yep. What are you touching on? What's your focus?
Storytelling from the Africa perspective was one that I was on yesterday. And today we are on the showrunner. Okay. Showrunner in its role in African storytelling. But again, one thing that I would tell, as I mentioned yesterday in the panel, is that we have to get out of the idea of African storytelling, American storytelling, and then within African storytelling, there's South African storytelling, there's Nigerian storytelling, there's all these silos of storytelling. And storytelling is universal. So we just need to focus on telling a great story that could be what I would call appealing to a global audience. Yeah. So international, but yet local.
I mean, you know, for instance, part of our slate, we've got a story written by an African-American writer, and his vision was, you know, I want to tell a Southern African story, and I want to be able to bring talent from all across the globe, Pan-African talent, to tell the story. Okay. And some of these people we talk to, they're like, no, you can't. You can't bring an American in an African story because Africans won't relate, or you know, and how I know you've crossed that bridge, and how did you navigate that?
No, I didn't cross that bridge from that standpoint. If I'm telling a story, let's go Kings of Joburg. Kings of Joburg is a South African-led story with South African characters. Yeah. So it's not a matter of us trying to find someone outside to play South African. That's where the rub happens. What we did is look at how can we incorporate other how can we incorporate the diaspora within a South African story? Okay. Still led by South Africans, still a South African story, but as you live in South Africa, whether it be Cape Town, Durban, Eastern Cape, Joburg, you run into people from all over the place, all over the world. You might run into someone from Nigeria, someone who's African American like myself, right? But we're here in Cape Town in South Africa. So it's your story, this is your podcast. I just happen to be
in the story.
An organic person that is being interviewed who happens to be from America, right? But organically, I fall into I'm part of the biz. Yeah. So it's part of the story. If it's a South African story, it should be led by South Africans. I would never hire someone else to play South African.
Makes sense.
I would find the best South African actor for the job. And then if there's another role where that character interacts with someone who could be from America within the story, then fine. I'm okay with that. Vice versa. I would not ask a South African to play a Nigerian. I would not ask a Nigerian to play a South African. I would not ask an African American to play a South African. You understand? I think South Africa has an enormous amount of talent in front of the camera and behind the camera. And I've been blessed to hire so many people over the years and work with so many talented people over the years. I can attest to that fact that South Africa has no shortage of talent. So I think once we understand if the writer who's writing the South African story, I would say first and foremost, it's imperative for people as a writer to spend time within, whether it be South Africa, right? And then if it's within South Africa, it's if it's a Zulu-led characters, then spend some time with Zulus. Spend some time with whatever tribal group one might belong to. And then overall, spend some time within South Africa to see how those characters interact with other ethnic groups within a South African landscape. And I think collectively, that will allow you to better understand and appreciate the nuances, because that's what makes something authentic or not. It's the nuances. Everybody can cook chicken, but then there's people who can cook a very specific type of chicken that tastes really good that you want to lick your fingers and say, I have to have more of that. But we all had the same chicken and the same ingredients. But it's really who's paying attention to the nuances and understand the layers of spices and taste.
True.
That's the thing. So when it comes to writing and storytelling, you have to look at it like that. I think the problem I find, is that people get so used to having things done so easily and quickly that they don't think it's sexy, if I can, to do the research and homework. We want to skip over that and go to being on set and hiring people and being able to say, I'm making this or that. But the real work is in the preparation.
Sure.
The real work is in the development. That's where the nuances are. That's where the secret sauce is. You understand?
You know, I had the privilege of reading one of your drafts on a picture that might not ever be made, and it was based on a Tswana protagonist. And I was so surprised how detailed and layered that character was, and how entrenched he was within his community. You understood exactly but you also did specify that you also wanted to give it like a global appeal, you know. So even though you created that character to be a Motswana character, that's a Motswana that even a Ugandan viewer could look at and understand. And that's something I really appreciated and learned from you. But I want to touch on what you'll be talking about later, which is show running. I've had the privilege of shadowing you and just being around you while you work. And something I've seen about your approach as an EP, I've never seen an EP show running, you know what I mean? And the way that your attention to detail for me was a lifelong lesson that I think I will carry, with me throughout my career,
Thank you.
Why do you choose that path and you don't delegate such a task to someone who's...
The weird thing about me, I forget that I'm creative.
Okay.
I am an entrepreneur first and foremost. I just happen to be creative. I have to remind myself that I'm creative. I use my creativity to create a commercially viable product. So if I say, there's a gap in the market, here's a concept that I know could work, or is a concept that I'm a part of, and here's how we could take it to the next level, okay? I have the ability to see it, but when it's done. Whatever you saw is something I saw just in the writing process, the finished product. Whatever people watch on Netflix, I saw it already. So as we're developing the scripts, I'm visualizing how it could be done cost effectively. Can we afford to do this or that? Let's scale that back. We can achieve this. Okay. That's all part of the development process. So by the time we are ready to go into pre-production, we're not trying to structure around something that's impossible to achieve with the money that we have. Okay? So being an entrepreneur, I'm thinking about the money. I'm also in charge of putting the deal together and the funding together and the right players in to be part of the project to get us to the finish line. Then there's a matter of directors. Then there's a matter of the EP. So EP, funding, the creative side of it, and the execution for me is one and the same. You understand? For me, is one and the same. So therefore, I can see very clearly how to execute something. And sometimes what I find it's a bit difficult to take all of that I can see and then ask someone else to do it.
Yeah.
And then they may have their own way of doing things, which might contradict what the vision is. And then I have to explain to them, this is the vision, this is how it should be done. And I find just in general, so when I look at the market in South Africa and I say, there's a lot of talent here, in front of the camera, behind the camera. But South Africa has been a telenovela space.
Sure.
So people, if I don't care whatever sports or anything that you are training in, if you train in a way that's conducive to a certain level, when you're introduced to something else, a different mission, it's pretty much hard for you to convert to this.
Sure.
Not to say you can't convert to it, but there's different rules and there's a different approach, a different rules of engagement to do it this way. And sometimes you may find people struggle to go from the habits that they're used to doing to this.
Even if they think they are changing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I would tell you the difference between telenovelas and something a bit more cinematic. A telenovela is about volume, right? You got to shoot XY many episodes per year, per month, per week, so much per day. There's no time for the craft of acting and the craft of directing. It's pretty much say your lines, got it, move on. It's a move on approach.
Yeah.
And I found that even with certain actors who may be really, really incredible actors, I found that some of them were so used to the telenovela approach that when the line is over, they don't know what to do. Because they haven't been able to, for years, to be able to carry on. Me as a director, I want to know, and I know the viewer wants to know, whatever was said to that actor, or whatever that actor just said or did, what does it mean to them in that moment, after the lines? Is it something they have to process? Is it a character that we can't trust? Are they up to something devious? What is it? And we can only find that out outside of the words. So there's always a minute that you want to hold that camera for a little bit, just to see how the character's processing whatever he or she said, or whatever information they receive, or whatever dilemma they're in. Then I will call cut. In addition to that is coverage. I want to make sure I have different angles and different ways to approach the scene so that the scene is more dynamic versus TikToks and a wide shot and TikToks. And that's the telenovelas thing, a way of doing things. So it's kind of hard to convey, hey, this is what we're doing. We're trying this approach, and we don't have much time or money to educate on set to do so. So season 3, I found myself, I just wanted to, I thought it would be more efficient to just do it the way I see it myself from a director standpoint. Because I know from development and as a showrunner, I'm also able to write, okay, this didn't happen, this actor is late, or we don't have this thing here, or whatever's missing, I can rewrite on the spot because I know the whole connectivity, I know the whole world of the story we're trying to tell, and I know what in edit I can move this way and change that way in real time. So I'm able to make decisions from a writing standpoint to make the pivot or switch things out, or maybe we can't, there's another location or another scene we need to shoot and we're running out of time. Can that story beat or that point be married into something else that we can achieve? You understand? So understanding all of this stuff, I'm able to write and coordinate and redirect and pivot where we need to and still get the essence of what we need to do. Now, if I'm just a director for somebody else, I can't have that authority. You understand? If I'm the showrunner, yes, great, and I'm not also directing, it may not convert what I'm saying to do under pressure.
Yeah.
And then I think sometimes you'll also find that certain working with other directors, and this happens whether it be here or in the U.S. anywhere. Sometimes you spend more time trying to tell them
what to do,
but without embarrassing, right? Like behind the scenes, hey, maybe look at, and that's time, and that could also be frustrating for the director.
That's true.
So for them, it's like, and I've been in that situation before, and I had to take it on the chin because I'm working for someone else's company at the time as a hired gun, as a director, but it's their show. And I have to make peace with the fact that I have a vision. I'm they've given me some authority to put my vision within the overall vision. Put my touch to the overall vision. But I have to make sure I'm within line of the overall vision. You understand? So my idea might take me a little bit outside the overall vision. They may have to say, hey, wait.
Come back. Let's go.
And have to be okay with that. And that's a good exercise.
Yeah.
Because you're not always going to have full authority on your projects. I'm blessed to do that, but I also like to, from time to time, go be on somebody else's project.
Yeah.
Because it balances you out. And I think, and it's good as a good way to grow, just to be balanced.
Yeah.
You understand? A good leader knows when to follow.
That's true.
And I just find that I think more of that is needed here in South Africa for people to understand it's okay. You're working on a particular mission. This is the overall theme. This is how we're doing it. There's some authority within it, but this is the recipe on how we're executing this project. This is the type of coverage that we're doing. We don't move on until we have this kind of coverage. Okay? We don't call cut until we make sure we extract the what's really going on in the actor's mind, because that's what the viewers want to see. They're investing in your story or your journey within the project, this character or that character, and you can't get it. It's not just about the lines. The lines are great, but then it's also what does that dilemma mean to that actor?
Now, as a leader, what kind of style would you say you have?
I inspire. I don't lead by fear. I don't lead by fear. I don't lead by threatening people. I don't lead by yelling at people. I don't. I try to inspire and I set an example. This is how we're working. This is the level I'm working on. You obviously have enough talent or value that we brought you on, whether you're in front of the camera or behind the camera. And therefore, we're paying you to bring your gifts to this project. And I'm going to show you my work ethic, and I just require you to keep up with that same work ethic and the same respect. I'm respecting you. I don't expect you to yell at anybody if you're an HOD. I don't expect you to be yelling at your people within your department, because I'm not yelling at you. And so I lead by inspiring others. And in the end, I think you get more out of people. And sometimes people don't believe in the whole vision until later on. And they're like, wait a minute, I was a part of it. I see, thank you. And sometimes you have to drag people to the finish line. Because maybe they've been beaten down so much in their career and it's been a pessimistic environment. And then you get into a new project where the glass is half full always. Yeah, there's challenges, but the mentality is the glass is half full, not half empty. And if you're used to being the half empty, then you come into the table with half empty attitude and outlook. And I can't tolerate half it. So I try to say before we hire you, and then even when I get everybody together, what this environment is. There's no threatening, there's no threatening to quit. If you're a quitter, this is not the project for you. You may not always get your way, you may not always be happy with certain things, but that's what dialogue is for. We'll talk about it, we'll pivot where we need to pivot, and we'll address it however it needs to be addressed respectfully, and we'll move on. But I also found there was a culture of threatening to quit. And I think it's also, it's very sad because sometimes you say, okay, wait a minute. I'm doing all of this so that I can see all of these different people working. I think that's the magic. The magic is watching in front of the camera, behind the scenes, hundreds of people working and feeding their families off of something we all love to do. And I think there's magic in that. And there's no reason to come with a bad attitude and any cancerous energy for something that you would actually do for free because you love doing it. But yet we hired you to be a part of it. And it's something that the world is going to see. And would you rather be part of something that the world is going to see and have a credit on something that the world is going to see and appreciate? And that's the dialogue and the approach that I try to take. And that's my leadership style. I rather inspire. I don't want people to fear me. I'm just looking for mutual respect. And I want you to understand the mission that we're on.
Thank you, brother.